Hello and welcome to the Trail Network podcast. I'm Leah Yingling and I am joined by the lovely Rachel Drake and Katie Asmith, who are both coming off fun adventures of their own from the last couple weeks. I think, Rachel, you had quite the whirlwind trip to Japan where you were crewing Tyler for Mount Fuji. And Katie, you just came back from canyons and had quite the sloppy adventure out there. It looks like some crazy conditions.
Yeah. How should we start this? I need to start with Rachel because I'm just so I want to get into it, but like we also need to give a teaser because we're gonna go deep dive into Japan with you and Ty.
With
Yes.
Tyler.
So well, we won't go like too deep, but what do you want to share generally with the audience about your experience at Mount Fuji?
Wait, can I interrupt right before we do this? Rachel, you made a big announcement right as you arrived.
Oh, we haven't talked about that yet. Oh yeah, surprise.
Oh yeah. Yep. Having a baby. Leah and I are due 9 days apart. So
which is so special. So really hopefully fun. This doesn't turn into just a mommy podcast.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. We're gonna keep it real. Mommy runner podcast at least.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I got on and saw both of you and I'm like, all of us are moms. This is so fun. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Also, Katie, I want to hear about how Liam was your crew chief.
So damn
how old is your son, Liam?
Okay, can I just tell you one story so adorable?
Yes.
So he was an only child this weekend at Canyons because my 10-year-old Noah had a hockey tournament in Tahoe. So he was with friends playing hockey. So it was just Liam. And we never get that one-on-one time, right? So we were with Liam for 4 days. It was so special. And he kept saying, Mom, I think I'm becoming more miniature. Miniature, you guys. He thinks that word means mature. How flipping cute. And so then, of course, we say it all the time, like, that was really miniature of you, honey. And like,
oh my
so cute.
Adorable.
Oh my God.
He's such a sweet little
cute.
guy.
At the panel, we had a community panel with Hoka the first night we got there on Thursday. And he was presented with this whole Hoka kit and shoes. And they don't make kids apparel, so it was way too big. It was extra small, but way too big on him. But he was so proud to wear it, and he's been wearing this Hoka hat every day to school. It's so cute. And he has these Hoka shoes that literally are 2.5 sizes too big for him, but he's wearing them proudly. It's really cute. Anyway,
oh my God,
he was very proud.
Your biggest
and excited.
Fan. Is he 7 or 8?
He's 8.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was a fun little memory. Honestly, this is what this stuff is all about, right? Can we talk about Japan? But before we do canyons, can we just hear from Rachel? How are you feeling? Give us a baby update. Give us Japan update.
Okay. So actually what you just said about this is what it's all about was really my big takeaway from Japan because I felt like we didn't have that there. Like we didn't have our community, we're in a foreign country and we've done a lot of international races, but this was just so different in that we didn't know anyone. I feel like there was more of a language barrier and like the vibe around the race and the rules around the race were different than I've ever experienced. And I just felt like my way of operating at these events is like very joyous and collaborative and community oriented and enthusiastic, and like that was not at all the vibe. I did make one friend and I love her so much. Her name's Maria. She's the wife of Joaquin Lopez, who ended up winning the race, and she's just a delightful, lovely woman. But I also felt like our friendship kept being stifled because they were like, you can't help each other. You can't like, I'm a 23 weeks pregnant, like 5 months pregnant. So like, I do need help. Like if people like can help me carry my bag or like fill up a bottle or fill up a water jug or something, like that's a huge help for me at 2 a.m. the night before I'm going to race. And I just, I felt like I found that in Maria, but we actually kept getting yelled at for like helping each other. Like Joaquin came into an aid station and we thought maybe he had like pooped his pants or something. And he was like, I need my new shorts. And I was like, oh, I'll help you like cover him up so he can change. She was like, we better not. And I was like, you're right. We better not. Like, because we really thought we were going to get in trouble for helping each other, which I don't know. I understand if it seems like an unfair advantage, you know, that if someone has like a NASCAR pit stop with multiple people helping them, but it's like, if it's a guy who pooped his pants and you're just trying to like hold up a towel, or like if someone's helping you carry your crew bag, I don't really see how that's like an unfair advantage.
Totally.
Are you allowed one crew?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
why? Okay.
It's like similar to UTMB, which it's funny because I remember when Keely ended up crewing me at CCC, like I remember Paul Lind was kind of just there like helping out, not in a tremendous way, but he had been there crewing all of his athletes. Like I can't remember who was in the race, but like he was talking to me and asking if I needed anything, and like I feel like he might have gone to the aid station and grabbed me like orange slices or something while I was in there. And that's the kind of thing that I realize brings me so much joy. It's those tiny little acts of kindness that were not permitted. And it's hilarious. I texted Leah today. I had my first day back in the hospital in 2 weeks, and I'm in the ICU. It's an intensive care unit, high stress situation, very sick patients. And my Aura Ring told me that I was in the relaxed to engaged phase all day. And when I was in Japan, specifically like around the race, I was in the stress zone like the entire time. So I think that's just a funny anecdote. And it's because in the ICU, like now I know the nurses, I'm working with my co-residents, I love my attendings. It is a high stress situation, but I have that community support. And it's just like,
Totally.
it's just bliss. Like,
Yeah. Oh man, it just speaks to, it's like international racing is difficult as is, but I feel like you speak to that other element of just like foreign country, foreign protocols, like not the same style of racing and supporting that we're used to, which is something like you have to think about whenever we would go overseas to do races. Like it's a different beast.
And like normally, like I remember at UTMB, I would like, after I crewed Tyler, I would like run out of the aid station and I would like run after him and be like, this is what you came here for. You're a mate. Like I was just so into it. And I would do the same thing. I would like run up the trail and like cheer people on. And I just felt like if I did that, like he was going to get disqualified based on like the people that were yelling at me. Like they were like, this is very bad. If you do this again, your runner will be penalized. And so I just felt so stifled.
So when I think of the World Trail Majors, I think of races that have come together specifically bonded in this inclusivity, in this the ethos of trail running, right? Trail culture, right? This is so shocking to me. I am so sad to hear that that's how you felt. And I'm curious if you are thinking about reaching out to World Trail Majors, or it just seems there was some volunteer, like you're not getting all into it on the podcast right now, but there's more to the story. And I'm just curious if you're going to kind of talk about it more on a larger scale.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler and I are going to record an episode and he'll talk about his race experience and just our story of why we chose that race. And like you said, Katie, that's exactly it. Like we did the Hong Kong 100K last year and it was a completely different experience. And so in our minds, we were like, oh, another World Trail Major over in Asia. This is going to be great. Like,
They invited you.
They did, but then they sort of like, once we actually signed up, they didn't seem that interested in our participation there. But I mean, that didn't matter to us. We still wanted to do it. It's one of the classic races when I think about, classic 100-milers. And yeah, that's why we chose it. Like when I think of World Trail Majors, I think of the classics. I think of really well put on, really welcoming, like well organized, kind. But I think maybe one of the things that I need to just get over is that there is a cultural difference there, in that Japan is very rules governed. And I saw this throughout my trip there. Like, if someone was in a crosswalk and it was turning, like they had people in the street to like shepherd them in and make sure they weren't like lingering in the crosswalk. And I mean, I think there's a lot of advantages to people following rules and being very organized, but also when you don't speak the language and you don't understand, and also when the rules don't make sense to you, like make common sense to you, it's really hard to buy into it. And that's probably also partially my, my American upbringing, and I think that's definitely contributing to my experience. But then I also go back to, I've had a lot of international experience. Tyler lived in Nepal for 2 years. He's lived in Libya for 6 months. I've traveled to Nepal. We went to Hong Kong. We did Trans-Gran Canaria. We've done
Been
UTMB,
around.
Western States. And I feel like there's been a thread at like every trail race I go to all over the world. It's kind of just like, this is the community. And that was just not the way that it was there.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I feel like America isn't exactly positioned well in the world
No,
right
it's
now
not.
either. And were you feeling any of those vibes while you were there?
I mean, maybe like I did feel like our presence there was not super celebrated, but I don't know if that's just because people are more reserved and
Yeah,
or if it really was, like our current status as Americans
totally.
in the world. That's definitely possible.
Yeah, something that's challenging too, and I think you can speak to this, is we are very privileged to be able to travel to the races that we do and get the support that we do. But also, your life is not exactly conducive to doing an international trip in the midst of residency, 5 months pregnant with a 2.5-year-old. So, can you speak a little bit to just the level of sacrifice it takes to commit to a big endeavor like this, and how you're weighing weighing that balance whenever the experience isn't quite matching up to what your expectations for it were?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like pretty heartbreaking, and I completely agree. It is such a privilege, but yes, at the same time, it's a sacrifice. I'm
Mhm.
balancing 2 careers as a, I know I'm pregnant right now, so I can't really compete, but I still see running and the trail space as a career, and balancing that with residency, sacrificing two weeks away from Lewis, and the financial commitment to go
Yeah.
there was very expensive. There was a lot of components that made the experience sting a lot more when it
Mhm.
didn't pan out. And I just got to say, I'm so happy to be home. Like I I just love my job and I love my community, and
Mm.
if nothing else, it just gave me the perspective that like I just have amazing people around me, and I was getting so much joy like following along with canyons and seeing everyone together, and honestly feeling like pangs of regret for not just going there when all my people were there. So, yeah, it's a good lesson. I think it's also important to note that like, yeah, things might look pretty idyllic online. Like, oh, wow, they're in Japan. They must be having a great time. And there were definitely good parts about it, but overall it was a really difficult just a difficult few weeks.
Quick break to thank Janji for sponsoring this episode of the show. We want to plug the multi-short, 3-inch especially is my favorite. It is an amazing short for long adventures or ultras because of the multi-pocket waistband. It can fit everything in there and it's bounce proof. Give it a try at janji.com. Now back to the show. Rachel, thank you for sharing your honesty, because I think that, to your point, it looks so glamorous, right? And we don't talk about this stuff. Like, there's not a platform to really talk about it. So being able to share that openly, I'm sure there will be listeners that understand and commiserate, I should say, with those feelings in some way. And yeah, I'm sorry that all that happened.
I wonder too if like people who are new to the trail space and haven't yet met people or like are still
Mm,
building their community, even speaking the same language, like if they can relate to that, like someone who's new to trail running goes to canyons and they see everyone's all friends and they're like, I want to be friends too. But it takes some time to build that.
Yes.
And like I had this perspective of being an outsider again, and it was really, really hard for my spirit.
Oh, that's such a good point. That makes me think about our first year ever at UTMB. When me, Mike, and Jimmy Elam went out there to do TDS in 2019. And we were still very much like on the fringe of the sport. We were all doing okay, but like we didn't have a ton of friends outside of our local community. And I remember going there and being like, everybody is friends here. Everybody has their crew that they're traveling with. And we had each other, but in some way, we all ended up DNFing that race too. So it felt extremely lonely. But then we went back 2 years later, and then every year after that, and we had grown our community each year, and it felt like the celebration then. And I think that is how a lot of people feel, especially early on. It's like, yes, our sport is really inclusive in a lot of ways, but there's still some kind of exclusivity before you find your little groups in the sport and like your little communities in the sport, and it's really tough.
Mm-hmm. And it's really sad because you hear people talk about community and it's so nice and all this stuff. And you're like, I want in that. But I mean, for us, I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And you're yelling at me and I just want to be loved.
And you wanted to help your husband.
And I wanted to help my new friend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it makes me think too about like local community events too, and just how I know there's a lot of races out there that have so much notoriety these days, and we're seeing more of these like golden ticket chases here in the States. We're seeing like the Golden Trail series, things like that. And it just does make you have this soft place in your heart for all the local races back home, because I feel like that is where you start to build your community, is at your home, in your hometown, and wherever you spend your time with your community, and you kind of grow it from there. And I think those races aren't going away. And I think that's a large reason, is because like that's where the community is built and grows.
Mm-hmm. I really want to, after this, I was like, all right, I'm doing Bear Gutsman August 7th. It's this like ragtag 7-miler. I'm doing all the local ones. I need some of that.
We could do Tim Trail Marathon. That's in May sometime. We should pencil that one in.
There's the 10K Mammoth Trail Fest. Just throwing that out there.
I'm trying to convince Tyler to do that 200-miler there, mostly because I want another stay at your house, Katie.
Let's go.
Okay, can we talk a little bit about canyons, or a lot about
gosh.
canyons?
Yes.
I'm so inspired by you, Katie. I mean, seriously, in every way.
Thanks.
I'm serious.
Guys, it was a time. I mean, honestly, really, I came back from Black Canyon feeling, I was shocked. I was surprised. I was like a little confused. Like what happened? I'm fast. I'm fit. I'm always at the front. Like I've never not competed well. And it was just weird. And I came out of that just a big piece of humble pie and got to work. And it was really, really fun. And I was like, all right, the sport's changed and I'm not there where I used to be, and I got to get fast. So we doubled down on speed, and we've been really working on speed. And in March, I don't know if I talked about it on the pod, but I had a little bit of posterior tib tendonitis, a little bit. Like it was just like, I don't like doing vert. Hurt to do vert. And I was like, we're just going to stay mellow. Did some flowy trails, but wasn't trying to do a lot of vert. And so really just didn't get a lot of vert. But I worked on speed, and I could do speed without any problem. And then Joshua Tree came along, and I was like, Joshua Tree FKT was a huge data point. And I was like, yes, let's go. I'm fast. I'm fit. I'm back where I want to be. Like I'm close. It's not like, I don't know if I'm ready for a golden ticket, but at least I'm getting closer, And so that felt really good. And then I did a massive week of vert and thought that'd be enough, or at least my coach thought that would be enough. And looking back, I'm like, I think I did a lot of that vert, or most of that vert. It was like 16, 17. I need to look back at my Strava. 1,000 feet of gain. It was a lot of vert, like lots of repeats. And it was a hell of a week. And Yeah, and I was just mostly on sand. So I just didn't bust up my quads and I just didn't get the training I needed for canyons. So I show up to canyons like with this idea that I'm fit, and I'm not like I'm not fit. I feel fast, I feel fit, but I just wasn't fit for that race, for that course, you know? So, but yeah, I'm proud of a lot of things. So that's sort of my background into canyons.
Yeah. Katie, it makes me think about like I've shown up at races in recent years and I compare myself and my fitness to the year prior. Let's call it Western States, lined up there 3 years in a row. And I'm like, I know what type of shape I was in last year when I lined up. This feels similar, if not a little bit better. Whenever you're lining up at canyons, you know what your past fitness has been. And I'm assuming like you've arrived close back to that because you've worked really, really hard in the last year since you've got back from injury. Do you find that the sport is like progressing even past what like peak fit Katie was, or do you think it's just like in this interesting era right now where it's getting hard to keep
No,
up?
I don't feel that way. And I think it would be easy to
That's
feel
good.
that way. And I might
Yeah.
just be holding out on hitting the believe sign. But I think that I underestimate the cumulative training that comes from just like months
Bouts.
and months and months of training that I never got. Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I haven't raced in 22 months. Right. I haven't gotten to a finish line in 22 months. I guess I raced Black Canyon, but I mean, it's a really long time. And I didn't really start running until September of last year. And that was just like barely, that was like 1 minute on, 1 minute off. You know, like I didn't actually start training till mid-December. And I
That's
look at
not that long
it's just
ago.
really not that long. Like
No.
that's when I started to build. And yeah, I remember going into Black Canyon being like, yeah, this feels pretty like I'm pretty undercooked here, but you know, I can
Yeah.
rely on what I've
You
always
can do it.
done and experience and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just definitely not good enough. So I think that yes, the sport goes out faster. You need to hold on. Nutrition is dialed. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things. People just aren't blowing up the way they used to. There are definitely
Mhm.
things have changed. And I just think it's the cumulative effect of training and having that long time off of running, even though I was gravel cycling, training really hard. I just wasn't
Mhm.
pounding my legs the way running does. So, yeah, I just missed out on a lot of training. And it was you guys, Pete went back because he's like the best, but he was trying to make me feel better. Like, you know, there's a reason, Katie, it's okay. But I mean, my vert and Miles, but I will just speak to Vert that compared to the other ladies on the line were was like really ridiculous. Like, I mean, Marianne's was like 2.5 times my Vert just in 2025 alone. And then everybody else was like almost double of what I had. So it's just like, wow, I definitely wasn't prepared compared to my competitors on the line. And that's okay. I'm like, yeah, I just needed more time
Yeah.
because I couldn't ramp up to get the vert because I was trying to work on building,
Totally.
you know, my
Mhm.
base and trying to work on speed. Like I just haven't been training for that long. So I don't know. I'm trying to, I don't know. I feel much better about this race. I'm like, it's fine. I just need more time. Like there were so many
Truly.
I
fun
think
things about this race. You guys, I'm so filled to the
yeah.
brim. Like it was so good. So I can talk about the positives. But yeah, I guess a positive was coming out of that feeling I've got a lot of work to do and let's go. So
Well, I think that's a great point, Katie. Like, I think we come out of injury periods, we come back like
yeah,
postpartum, for example, and like we're always chasing that prior version of ourselves or like that whatever that fittest version of ourselves is in the present. But there is that cumulative bout effect of like
yeah,
years and miles. And like for a lot of the younger runners who are just coming into the sport and getting introduced to the sport who want to make it as a professional runner, just like achieve podium positions in their local races, it's not
no.
overnight success.
Mhm.
And I think it really speaks to the long trajectory that often is required. And like the ups and downs, it's not just this upward trend the whole time. Like there's going to be some low moments.
Yeah. I remember you, Leah, we were like rehashing my kind of postpartum journey as we chart out our future postpartum
Future.
journeys. And you were like, "Oh, you were 22nd at Broken Arrow." And then you were like, we were just kind of, I had multiple races that were very below where I wanted to be and below where I used to be. And I think like just maintaining, you know, your belief that you will eventually get there and that each of those experiences is instrumental in your path forward and in your learning and I guess like, you know, you change after an injury, like it's a little bit, you know, you're getting to know your new norm and it's even more so that after pregnancy, but I really really believe that like you are just on your way and these Black Canyon and canyons are just stepping stones towards like the greatness that is to come and you're learning lessons from these that are going to
So
apply.
Oh my
many
gosh,
Yeah.
lessons.
you guys, and just I mean, race tactics are rusty. So that it's just fun, right? Like, I think if I would have done this all different, I think I would have done some local races before jumping into the biggest races in the country. So like, I mean, just throwing myself into 2 golden ticket races was just a lot. And I think it's tough because you want to believe, like, you don't want to show up to the starting line being like, I don't know, am I still just on my way or is this my breakthrough? Right. Because this could be the breakthrough. I don't know, I'm feeling fit. Right. So I'm going to show up and believe it. So yeah, I think that line is tough because then you can just keep putting yourself out there and just hope that this is the breakthrough. This is the breakthrough. And I feel like that resilience is something that I've learned just as, I don't know, in life, I guess, and through my injury really and in parenthood. And it's that resilience of just kind of keep hitting that belief sign and just keep showing up and just trying to stay positive. Like I learned a lot from this. Next time will be better. And yeah, honestly, guys, it was so fun to fight. Like my quads were done. Like I'm like an hour behind first, okay? And ended up being more than an hour behind Emily. And I'm like, not even close. I'm not competing with the front, okay? But in my mind, I was. I was like chasing the ghost of first place and being like, I'm going to catch her. I'm going to catch her. And like super committed to it. And like chuckling to myself because I'm like, push here, like don't stop, we're fighting, like I'd go into the aid station and Pete's like a little bit lackadaisical, like, all right, let me help you. I'm like, let's go, we gotta go, like we gotta race. He's like, all right,
That's awesome.
So it was really fun. Like, I mean, I was kind of like light about it, but I really wanted to give myself my best effort on that date. And I was just really competing against my quads. Like, how fast can you go? So that was really fun for me. And I had a little back and forth with Madison, who ended up being 9th. But we were kind of competing all day together, so that was really fun. And like, she's like, I'm really tired. I'm like, just keep moving forward. And then I was way ahead of her and then she'd pass me and I'm like, shoot, it was just really fun working with her and both of us not having the day we wanted, but like being really positive about it. I feel like I was really like happy and present and grounded and running on these insane trails. Guys, I've never seen the Western States Trail like this. Holy God. I mean, really, next time I'm on the Western States course and it is bloody hot, I'm just going to think about it like dripping in rain and wildflowers and it was gorgeous. I loved it. Anyway, but I will say I have to say this because it was so impressive. I mean, I'm moving horribly. Like there'd be like a flat section, not a lot of those, but there'd be a flat section and I'm like running 10-minute miles, okay? Like pumping my arms and like I think I'm sprinting, like I'm so committed to being as fast as I can. I'm like, I have no quads. I can't move. Like I'm literally not running. But in the last mile, right after Roby Point, Anna Luden, oh my gosh, you guys, she charges by me so fast and she's like so serious and dialed. And I'm like, I mean, there was no way I could respond. Girl, if I could have responded, I would have loved to given her the respect to respond and really have a throwdown. But I literally was giving all I could. Yeah, I couldn't. And she like zipped by me. And I was like, where was that energy all day? And I literally hadn't seen her all day, not one time all day until the last mile. And then she made it in for that 10th place finish, which was so epic. And I'm like, I'm just so happy I gave her that moment. She's like, thank you for giving me a win on my day. That was horrible. And I'm like, girl, I'm glad I could give you something. I'm glad I could help
Same.
somebody out. But it was really, really fun to scream at her, I'm so proud of you. You know, like it was just one of those races, Rachel, where everything you're saying about your experience was opposite. Like it felt so uplifting. We were so encouraged. You know, I saw so many people on the trail that I know and love so deeply, and it just felt like a true coming home. And even though I didn't even come close to my goal for results, it hit all the marks.
You won.
I mean, I won in my heart. It was so fun.
You won the day. Like
So
you
fun.
had so much fun. And how
really did.
satisfying is it to get the most out of yourself? Like you cannot ask for more than that.
Right.
That is what it's all about.
That's what I tell my kids, right? Like you can only do your best. And sometimes you can do even better than what you think you can do. And that was me on that day where I'm like, I think I should be walking, but we're going to go 10-minute mile pace, you know, like on a flat. So, you know, that sort of thing where like you can only do what you can do and you got to be happy. And I'm super happy because I was really authentic to my best self on that day. So that feels great.
Totally.
So,
and it's like, even when you feel like your fitness and your quads didn't like quite show up for you on that day, you practiced all the same things that you would be doing when you are competing at the front. Like, it sounds like you practice staying in it and like racing every competitor, regardless of what place you were shooting for in that moment. I think I read in your post that you saw Arden at one point and you're like, I'm going to go get her. I'm going to like charge and get her. And it was like mile 33 or something. And you're like, okay, there's a lot of race left.
I mean, I tried so hard to get close to her. And then they're like, you're 2 minutes away. And I'm like, oh God, like I literally gave it everything I had and I still have 30 more miles to run. And I'm like, okay, all right, got this, you know? And I'm like, guys, I'm so cracked right now, but I couldn't say it out loud because you want to keep believing and thinking that maybe my quads would somehow turn around, you know, unlike your stomach, you know, like that can somehow turn around, but your quads don't really come back. So
I do think you'll be tapping into like all those mindset moments though, all those fighting moments against people, like every competitive race you do from here on out, you're going to be thinking about just how you pushed yourself in those low moments in this race and how even like you had no quads left and you were still charging with whatever was left of your quads in that moment. And that's
I really
tried
to race the guys, you know, like a guy would like pass me and I'd be like, I'm sticking on your shoulder. And then I did.
Would you say that out loud?
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm sticking on you. And they'd be like, because you have to say it out loud to make it real, you know, like, hey, orange shirt guy, I'm coming for you. And he's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, I'm coming, you know, but
wait for me.
Give me a little slow down. God, slow down.
Well, anyway. I'm scared for the rest of us when your quads do come back and you put your strengthened quads with your competitive mindset, and we're all going to be in for a reckoning.
Stop it, Rachel Drake. Don't even.
You have it to an extra degree, I think. Like,
yeah,
when we were talking about Western states and last year, I remember you were like, oh yeah, it's so competitive. We're just gonna like. I was just like.
Like, of course it's competitive. What do you mean?
Well,
that's the best part.
I know. And I like it, but it's also like, I feel like you love it and you relish in it more than anyone I know. Like the competition.
I love it. I love it.
And that's a strength. That is such a strength. I run into Rachel at the river and I give her a hug and I'm like, oh, wait, we're racing. Just kidding.
But like, no, that's too. Like, I was running with Madison. Like, we were happy chat. Like, it wasn't like I was like, it was definitely not a cutthroat vibe, just for the record.
But it's a strength, it was though. Like, I think it is a strength.
You know, we all want to do our best. It's out of respect for each other. That's really what it comes from. Totally. I think we've talked about this on the pod before, that you line up to any start line, and I don't care if you're running for the win or if you're running for your own personal best, whatever, or running for cutoffs. It's like you are running your best. And that's like, we're all carrying each other to that finish line as fast as we can. And we use each other. That's what a race is all about. I mean, we can all just go put in a hard effort anywhere, but races is like, that's what makes it so fun. I don't know.
Tyler would always tell his high school athletes, like, he would give this talk to them that when they step on a start line, everyone is entered into a contract with everyone else that you have to give your best. And it's like, it's disrespectful to not do that. And I love that sentiment. And like some of my best races have been moments where I feel like it's a collaboration with all your competitors to get the most out of yourself, regardless of what happens. Like I ran CIM, a lot of it with Peyton Thomas, and we were racing, but it actually felt more like we were like teaming up, and like
Teammates,
it really, like, if you can try to see competition that way, it can really make things go a lot better, rather than like, you go to a race and you see people and you're like, oh my gosh, that's Katie Asmuth. Oh my gosh, that's Leah Yingling. Oh, they're so good. I'm going to get worked. But it's like, no, yay. Katie's here. Leah's here. They're going to force me to bring out the best because I know that they're bringing their best.
Yeah, it definitely had that feeling all day amongst everyone. I do have to give a little story because it's embarrassing and I don't want to post it because I'm embarrassed. I'm sure I will eventually, but okay, just for our listeners, you guys, this is so embarrassing. Okay, I haven't run in the dark in a very long time. Right?
Oh.
But I've run in the dark many, 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 many times. So I'm like, just take that for granted because I don't care. I don't get nervous about running in the dark. I love running in the dark. It's not a problem. Got my headlamp situation dialed. This time, I even brought this little waist light, like clip, that I just was like, maybe a little something extra because I hear that those trails are really tough, right? Like it's all single track in the beginning and it's just really technical. And so I was like, the more light, the better. And it was really light. So anyways, we get to the starting line and it's snowing. It's beautiful. I love the snow, right? Like for me, the weather, people talk about the weather. I'm like, yeah, the weather was cold, but it was fine. I don't know. The weather to me wasn't a big issue. We start off on this fire road and everybody's running together. And I was running like, I think it was 6:02 pace. And I'm right behind Emily and Marianne. And we're like running together. And I feel totally good at that pace. Like I feel really comfortable. And I kept thinking about Danny Moreno, who told me, don't let the elastic snap early, right? I'm going for a ticket, right? Like where I'm sticking on these women and we are going to have a day. So we're all on this fire road and we're like running fast. And then it goes into a single track. And I realized that the reason I could see was because we were on a fire road with all the other headlamps. And you guys, my headlamp was on my hat and the bill of my hat was blocking. You guys, it's my Hoka hat. It's like in all of my pictures and it literally blocks my headlamp. And I realized after the race, Pete made so much fun. He's like, Katie, oh my God, you didn't turn your hat around. Because usually I turn it around backwards when I put a headlamp on.
Yes.
Oh my God, you guys, I couldn't bloody see. To the point where I'm like, I'm going to fall. And I was just kind of throwing myself down the single track in the dark. And I'm like, I'm going to fall. I could sort of see, maybe that's, but I'm running as fast.
But then you got the shadows from everyone else's lights too.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad. Eventually, Erin Clark came up and I was like, Erin, you go ahead. I can't see. And she's like, I'll lead the way. And it was super positive. And then I was like, oh shoot, like you're going too fast. I literally can't see. And then I ended up taking off my headlamp and that waist clip and holding them, which gave me light. Thank God. So I didn't, I fell twice before I realized I needed to.
Is that how you got your bloody knee?
But the bloody knee was fine. Everybody was worried about the bloody knee. Like, oh, she had a fall and that's why she did
that. It looked bad.
It was fine. It was all like mossy and gorgeous. It was like beautiful wet dirt that I fell on. It was totally fine. Poor Sarah Beal. Did you guys see her ankle?
Her ankle looked
really bad. So that could have easily happened. And she still got 6. What a warrior. Anyway, so I'm holding on to my headlamp so that I can see. And I don't fuel the way I'm supposed to because I'm holding on to my gosh darn headlamps. You guys, these are like, you're a professional runner, Katie. Oh my God. And it got to the point where I'm like, wow, I'm not eating, but it's not, I don't care. I can't let the elastic snap. Like no time to eat because we got to like see, And anyway, that didn't matter. It definitely didn't affect my race in the long term. But it sucked. So I just wanted to say that as a reminder to people that even when you've been doing this for a long time, you take things for granted that you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. Not a big deal. So that was one. And then the second thing is that I've been working on my nutrition and I'm a really high salt sweater and I lose a lot of sweat and fluid, right? So I should have changed that plan because it was so cold, but I didn't because it's colder than that in Mammoth, and that's how I train. But I think because it was wet cold, it was different. I wasn't sweating the same way.
It's more humid, right?
Yeah, it was just like, it was like 90% humidity, right? I mean, it's like raining, or 100%, right? So anyways, I messed that up where I definitely should have been drinking less. I just was like, you guys, I started peeing on myself. Oh, that was another big one. I peed a ton on myself, which I've been working on. Well, I worked on that at Western States 2023. I like peed on myself for the first time in my life. And I was like, this was amazing. This is so freeing because I didn't have time to stop. And then this time I'm like, wow, I got to pee. I'm just going to pee on myself. Don't want to lose any seconds. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, I got to pee again. And I peed so much. It was ridiculous. Don't worry. There were stream crossings that I could clean myself off. But like, it was a lot. And then I realized I'm like, oh, wow, I'm drinking way too much. So basically the point is that I had to adapt, had to call an audible, had to learn these things on the fly that you plan for things and you have to adjust. And so anyways, just like throwing that out there that because of the weather that did affect my nutrition. And yeah, so I definitely made those mistakes. But all in all, it was my quads. But yeah, so I learned a lot in that way. And I'm really proud of myself for going out hard and trying to stick with it for a long time because that was fun. So anyway.
Quick break to thank Osprey for sponsoring this episode of the show. Osprey has been a leading maker of premium outdoor backpacks and bags for over 50 years. There are many reasons I turned to Osprey, but one is because of their pillars of sourcing sustainable materials. By incorporating recycled and Blue Sign approved materials into their products, they're helping to keep harmful chemicals out of our environment. Osprey has eliminated PFAS-based durable water repellent in 100% of their textile products, and as of fall 2024, 100% of Osprey's products have 100% recycled content in the lining fabric, and 99% of Osprey's products have 100% recycled content in the main body fabric. Osprey continues to reduce environmental impacts and produce more sustainably designed products every year. This is the type of company I want to support, and I know you do too. Learn more at osprey.com. Now back to the show.
Yeah, Katie, I've looked at the course and I mean, you guys go downhill. I used to love the net uphill version. That was my jam. I haven't run it since it's been going in this net downhill direction. But you go downhill for like the first 10 miles, 8 miles probably, and you lose 2,500 feet. You need, yeah, resilient quads and like good climbing for that course. At what point were you feeling like, uh-oh, this is going to be a tough one today?
On the climb up to Devil's Thumb, I was like, oh God. And that's early. That's like what, mile 13? I was like, oh, I can feel my quads. This isn't good. Like already. So I already knew at that point that this was like just the beginning. But you don't let your mind go there.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
No, you
I was
don't.
just like, ooh,
You're like, I can eat my
yeah,
way
I was like,
through
my climbing
this.
legs aren't where I want them to be. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I haven't climbed at all. And I think I did a lot of 15% on the treadmill, just kind of like the granny shuffle. I hate saying that, grandpa shuffle. And I feel like I could do that forever. I would do that for 90 minutes, like no problem. Like I can do that shuffle for sure. That is such a different skill set than climbing at 20, 25% grade up these like slippery rocks and using your hands and like the power hike stance. It's just a different skill set. And I haven't worked on that in years, you know? So that for me was, yeah, I didn't work on it. So anyway, lots of learnings.
Yeah.
Poison oak was intense. Can you see it on my face?
Ugh.
I have it like
Oh my
all over
God,
me. Oh my God,
no.
I should like I don't know how much you can see. It is bad.
Check the YouTube, folks.
Girls.
Yeah.
Woo! It's all
Did you
right.
techno and everything?
All the things. I did the pre-contact solution.
Wow, and you still got
It was
it.
pouring rain. I think it just all came off, and then did techno after.
Oh, I
and
didn't think about that.
yeah, did all the things. So sometimes you think you do all the things, guys. That's the and it doesn't work
The
Yeah.
out.
moral of this podcast.
Do all
You
the
do your
things,
best
you'll
with the
fail.
information you have, and you still fall flat on your face sometimes, and that's okay.
Yeah, but
It's
there was a win in so many other things.
beautiful.
I don't think it was a falling flat on my face. I really don't. I think it was like a really positive
Totally.
experience. And honestly, afterwards, we hung out for like, oh my God. Pete's like, we gotta go. I'm like, but I kept seeing more friends, you know? Because the 25K was the same day, the 50K was the same day. So you see everyone was there.
Can we real quick please shout out Taylor Nowlin, who ran the 25K first race postpartum after having twins, and she just crushed
Had both of her twins
it,
out
had
there
her
too.
babies with
Oh,
her. I
Second
just am
place.
So
so proud of her. Yeah, she was second place. Not that matters, but that's amazing. I
But
just
also,
was so happy
like,
to see
some
that.
people can come back, right? And I think that is something.
Yeah.
I said something to her. I didn't know she had raced, and I was like, "Ooh, girl, like, you know, take it easy on the first ones back," or so whatever I'm saying about my experience. And then her husband's like, "Well, she just got second," and I was like, "What?" You know. Of course, she wouldn't have even said it. Probably, she's so sweet.
She's the sweetest.
Oh my gosh, we got to have her on,
Yeah.
you guys. I adore that woman. Ugh,
Yeah,
she's
we will.
Well, and I think it was really cool too with her post-race recap was just the reality of what her last, 6 to 9 months, or I mean even beyond, have looked like, from having a really tough pregnancy last year with like procedures during the pregnancy, being on bed rest for a good portion of it, what her return has looked like, and just it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and it's been a really tough battle. And I just love that she's completely honest about it and just hasn't painted this picture that it's been easy, because it sure as heck hasn't been.
We love you, Tay.
You're the best. Yeah, and everybody's journey is different, you know, and I think we can't compare, and that feels maybe another moral of the story, right? Like each journey is your own, and to own that journey and to be proud of that journey, whatever it is, and to kind of roll with the punches, because there's going to be the highs, there's going to be the lows, and really it's all the journey. There's not a destination, right? There's not an end here. It's just about continuing to push yourself and challenge yourself and learn and grow along the way.
Yeah. Well, and Katie, that makes me think to the 3 women that got golden tickets this year. I think they would speak of their own journeys pretty similarly. Erin Clark had, what I really like about the whole field that got golden tickets on the women's side is they've all gotten golden tickets in the past. They've all had tough journeys, whether that's at Western States, whether that's with an injury, whether that's getting back to Western States, and they keep showing up. So like Keely Henninger has had two Western States that have ended with very different injuries. And then Erin Clark had a golden ticket to Western States and ran Western States a few years back and has been kind of clawing her way back to good health, good training to get her a golden ticket. And this was her 3rd attempt this season. And then Marianne Hogan has these like blowout races where she just crushes it, but then oftentimes kind of comes out of the race on the other side with an ailment that might take her out for a full season. And I think it's really cool to see all these women just recognize that there's highs, there's lows, and they haven't given up. And I see a lot of you in those women too.
Thanks, Leah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I about lost my shit when I heard that Keely got a ticket. Like, lost.
I'm so
my
freaking
shit.
proud
I
of
can't
her.
believe that. I mean, so we've run my 3 Western States. I've been with Keely. I think it's just been Keely and Emily for all 3, which is crazy. And Keely didn't finish 2 of them, right? And so for me, it was such a personal thing too, to be like, Keely's back. Like it almost felt like a part of me was going back, because of that. I'm so proud of her.
And she's in her first year of medical school while she's doing this, which is just a whole nother element to this that it's amazing.
It was like you last year, Rach, when she has 1 week off and it's the week of Western States.
That's what she said. Okay, here's the thing about my year though. Well, last year I was in residency, but the first 6 months of last year, I was like, the 4th year of medical school is very chill. So I feel like people like to be like, "Oh, she's in medical school." And I was like, Not really. I graduated early. I took some easy rotations. It was very chill. It wasn't quite like how it looked, but Keely is in the first year of medical school and it's intense. You're like drinking from
Yeah.
a fire hose trying to learn more information than you can fit in your brain. And she takes tests every single week, multiple tests every single week. Like,
It's my worst nightmare.
Well, she clearly can perform under pressure. So, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
cool.
gonna have a fun Western States, you guys. Holy moly!
Similar to you, she like really, really wanted to be there, and she knew she had that week off, and like, yeah, it's amazing.
I'm so excited.
And I think Leah's right. Like, I think everyone can draw inspiration from all three of those women who got golden tickets and have been through a lot of adversity to get there. I feel inspired.
Yeah, and like last thing I know, we should probably hop off soon. But even like Emily Hawgood too, something I was thinking a lot about her going into the race is like she's been in the mix in so many races, like right at the front, pushing the pace, like shooting her shot in so many races over the years and has never quite had that like headline win. And to see her just push it here and like come out with that headlining win for herself, which hasn't really happened in many years in her career. That was awesome to see too.
She's the queen of consistency.
Big time.
Totally.
Yeah.
This will be her 5th Western
love it.
States. Crazy.
So awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. I love you guys. This is so fun.
So fun. Thanks for letting me share my story.
Oh, so proud of you, Katie. And proud of you too, Rach. I know your Japan trip wasn't exactly what you hoped it would be, and you even wanted to line up for 40K there, but I'm honestly extremely proud of you for making the call.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that.
Put yourself
I
first.
DNS'd my race because my spirit was so sad after crewing Tyler that I was just zonked. Well, part of that too is I was gonna have somebody else crew him the last aid station so I could go home and sleep, but I was too worried that like that wouldn't be allowed. So that's why I didn't do that. So then I didn't sleep at all.
Yeah. You respected the energy.
Yeah. Gotta know when to call it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, this was
Life
so
lesson.
fun though. Katie, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Well,
So
thanks
inspiring.
for letting me chat about it. Super fun. To all our listeners, really appreciate you coming along for the journey. It's been the highs and lows are real. and this was a high. I'm taking this as a big high. And I'm going to hopefully take this energy with me into my next training block that I'm super pumped on and see where the next one goes. I will not be racing Valduran. I don't know if I announced that on this podcast, but that was my plan B. Clearly, I'm not ready for that 22,000 feet of vert in 100K. So I need some more time. I kind of want to let my body really soak up the fitness and not just rush. And I feel like we can all kind of have this tendency when you get back feeling good, you just want to sign up for the next thing. And I think I need time to not just rush fitness and really let it permeate a bit. So I've got plans for what's next, but it won't be in July or June. So
Good decision.
All right, you guys, till next time, thanks so much for listening, and shoot us with any questions or comments or anything we missed. We'd love to hear from you. Till next time.
Love you guys.
Bye.